The red and blue lights danced across my driveway in alternating flashes as two squad cars rolled to a stop in front of my house. Through the window, I saw my 16-year-old daughter, Emily, frozen on the porch, her overnight bag clutched tightly in her trembling hands. Two officers approached her, hands resting on their duty belts, alert but not aggressive. And there, standing at the edge of my lawn like a proud sentry, arms folded and a smug smile plastered on her face, was Patricia Hawthorne, the self-appointed Queen of Maple Ridge Estates. What she didn't know was that she'd just made the biggest mistake of her petty, power-drunk life. Let me back up. I'm David Garrison, a circuit court judge in Jefferson County for the past 12 years. After my divorce 3 years ago, Emily began spending weekends with me here in Maple Ridge. It was a peaceful arrangement until Patricia decided my daughter was a threat to her carefully curated suburban utopia. As HOA president, Patricia had turned what should have been a simple neighborhood association into her personal fiefdom. She memorized the bylaws like scripture and enforced them with the fervor of a zealot. Trash cans visible after PM, $50 fine, lawn not trimmed. To regulation height, another citation. She once fined my neighbor $200 for leaving their holiday lights up until January 3rd. But Patricia's favorite pastime wasn't lawn inspections. It was people watching, more specifically, policing anyone entering or exiting our gated community. She harassed delivery drivers, interrogated contractors, and followed unfamiliar cars like some discount private investigator. Most of us tolerated her antics until she crossed the line and targeted my daughter. That Friday, Emily had just arrived for her regular weekend visit. Her mother dropped her at the front gate, and Emily walked the 2 blocks to my house, like she'd done dozens of times before. I was in my home office reviewing court files when I heard the distant crackle of police radios. Curious, I stepped outside and found my daughter in tears, flanked by 2 officers, trying to explain that she lived here. Patricia's voice cut through the air like a buzzsaw. I saw her sneaking around the back. She was casing the place. I've never seen her before, and I know everyone here. She's obviously up to no good. Officer Chen, calm and composed, glanced at Emily, then back at Patricia. Ma'am, she says she lives here. She has a key. Of course she has a key, Patricia snapped. She probably stole it. These kids are clever. They watch houses, wait for the owners to leave, and then break in. I stopped a burglary in progress. You're welcome. That's when I stepped outside. Is there a problem, officers? Patricia brightened at the sight of me. Judge Garrison, thank God. You're home. I caught this girl trying to break in. I called 911 right away. I descended the porch steps calmly, retrieving my wallet. That won't be necessary. This is my daughter, Emily. She's here for her scheduled visitation. I handed Officer Chen my license and judicial ID. His eyes widened slightly as he read them. Officer Mitchell, his younger partner, took a step back. They recognized me. Of course, I'd presided over many of their cases. Apologies, Judge, Chen said, his tone shifting immediately. We got a report of a possible burglary. Patricia's smile started to falter. No, this isn't right, she stammered. She can't be your daughter. I didn't recognize her. Miss Hawthorne, I said, using the tone I reserve for my courtroom. Emily has been visiting me every other weekend for the last 3 years. That you don't recognize her speaks more to your awareness than to her right to be here. Patricia flushed. She was acting suspicious, going around the back of the house. I raised an eyebrow. You mean the walkway she uses every time because the side gate is locked? Emily's voice, trembling but firm, finally cut in. I told her who I was, Dad. She wouldn't listen. She just screamed at me to leave or she'd call the police. Then she actually did it. Officer Mitchell opened his notepad. Miss Hawthorne, did the young lady identify herself before you called 911? Patricia's mouth opened, then shut. She might have said something. I didn't believe her. Anyone could lie. I was being cautious. Actually, Officer Chen said, you can be too cautious. Filing a false police report is a serious offense. It wasn't false, Patricia insisted, her confidence cracking. I believed you believed harassment counted as neighborhood watch, I said sharply. Tell me, how many residents' children have you called the police on? How many innocent visitors have you targeted? The officers exchanged a look. This wasn't their first rodeo with Patricia. Judge Mitchell said, flipping pages, "We've responded to several calls from Miss Hawthorne this year. Most were unfounded. I'm just trying to protect the neighborhood," Patricia said weakly, backing away slightly. "No," I corrected. "You're trying to control it. There's a difference. And today, you crossed a line. You traumatized a child." "My child," Officer Chen stepped forward. "Miss Hawthorne, you're receiving a formal warning for misuse of emergency services. This incident is being documented. Continued behavior like this could lead to charges." Patricia's face went pale. "You can't do that. I'm the HOA president. I have a responsibility." "Your responsibility," I cut in, "is to enforce actual HOA regulations, not play cop. And I should know. I reviewed every line of the bylaws before buying this house." I turned to the officers. "I'll be filing complaints both with the department and the HOA board. This behavior needs to stop." "That's your right, Your Honor," Officer Chen replied. As they walked back to their vehicles, a small crowd of neighbors began dispersing, several nodding at me with approval. Patricia stood alone, stunned. "This isn't over," she muttered. "Your daughter may be allowed to visit, but there are procedures. Guest registration, notifications." "Let's talk about that now," I said, pulling out my phone. "I think Jennifer Rodriguez, board member and attorney, is in my contacts. She'll want to hear how the HOA president called the cops on a resident's minor child." Patricia's eyes widened. "That's not necessary. We can handle this internally." "Oh, I think it is necessary," I replied, finding Jennifer's number. "You've been acting like your role grants you unlimited power. But even the HOA has checks and balances." The following weeks were revealing. I filed formal complaints with the police and HOA board. News of the incident spread fast. Patricia Hawthorne, once feared, now infamous. At the emergency board meeting 2 weeks later, the clubhouse was packed. One by one, neighbors shared their own experiences. Mr. Patterson fined for his grandson's bike being in the driveway. The Martinez family, who had the police called on their reunion. Even Mrs. Foster reprimanded for the color of her mailbox flowers. Patricia sat silent at the table, shrinking with each testimony. When the vote of no confidence came, it was unanimous. Even her closest allies turned their backs. But the real blow came from the county prosecutor. After reviewing her history of false reports, they pressed charges: misuse of emergency services. The woman who loved dialing 911 was now facing the very justice system she had abused. On the day of her arraignment, I passed her in the courthouse. She looked different, smaller somehow, her usual righteousness stripped away. Her lawyer, clearly out of his depth, whispered the plea deal: 50 hours of community service, a $5,000 fine, and a 5-year ban from HOA leadership. Her face crumpled. When she saw me, our eyes met. I could have said something smug, twisted the knife, but I didn't. The law had done its job. That morning, she pleaded no contest, her voice barely audible. When the sentence was read, she didn't argue. She just stood there, shoulders sagging, realizing what the rest of us had known for a long time, that unchecked authority always has consequences. $5,000, 5 years of exile. Justice, as it turns out, is even more satisfying than revenge.